Hey guys, Dani here doing Walkthrough Wednesday. This week we're going to be doing the Moonchild Tarot. I'm using this tarot this month as kind of the yin to last week's yang. The Fountain Tarot is such a masculine deck that this month I really wanted to balance that out with the Moonchild Tarot because their styles are so similar, but one is more masculine and one is more feminine. Now we're going to get through the walkthrough. And then at the end, I will be doing a reading for the midweek. So be sure to stay tuned after that. And I will see you guys shortly. All right, you guys, the Moonchild Tarot. Let's kind of dive in here. So the guidebook, although it is small, is kind of big at the same time. It's really beautiful, though. It does have full color pages. Each of the cards have like inquiry questions. Some of them have like astrological and gemstone correspondences. It's a really good read. The box though is really, really big. I don't keep my cards in there because it's huge. However, it's sturdy, it's well made, it's really thick. So it is a great keepsake box. Now the cards themselves have this gorgeous matte gold gilding. So that means it's not sticky. The whole cards are matte, which I love. Oh my gosh. However, they're ginormous. Look at that. The size with a standard rider weight. And I have huge hands, and even I struggle with this deck. So this deck is by Danielle Noel. And it is a sort of digital collage style. And she did the Star Child Tarot. And I'm going to be honest, I was not a fan. I put it in my hands. I thought I was going to like it. And I just didn't. So I didn't buy it. And I was really reluctant to buy this one because it was the same type of kind of like color scheme and idea. But this one just has a completely different feel to it. If you're on the fence because of the Star Child Tarot, put that out of your mind because I almost did not get this deck, which I have now. You guys, I've used it every day since I bought it. I've liked this so much more than I thought I would because I'm usually not a fan of like Photoshoppy kind of stuff. But the way that the colors work in the background, things in the foreground, there are little caves and nooks and crannies with just little nuggets of intuition kind of built in that I've really learned to enjoy this style, to enjoy the collage aspect of it, because I take everything into consideration when I pull a card. The backgrounds, as small as they seem, really stand out. They pop, and you can focus directly on the point that the card is trying to make. Now, if I had to say something negative about the deck, I would definitely start with the size. If I'm being honest, the size is, it's just too big. I feel like even with big hands, if I have trouble working with it, a lot of people are going to have trouble shuffling. That's bottom line. However, the more you work with your cards, the easier it is to kind of maneuver them. But the size really is, I don't know, it really is a negative for me. As far as the cards themselves, I really don't have much to complain about. If I'm being really nitpicky, I would say that the kings and queens, while they're beautiful and you can really feel the element that they're in, there's no real background to speak of. Like, everything else has such a dynamic background that you can pull from. The kings and queens of this deck really don't. So if I'm being nitpicky, I would have to say that. Sometimes the coins are harder to read because they're not always like coin shaped. They're almost like brooches. So again, that's just being nitpicky. It really is not that big of a deal. But you know, it's one of those things. All in all, you guys, I looked for other negatives. I'm really enjoying this deck way more than I thought I was going to. Way more. I was surprised at the diversity, which I love. I always like seeing a diverse array of people, and they really do have a large amount. It could be bigger, obviously. There could be more people represented, but that's like that, I think, in most decks, but I do say that they do a good job of representing many different types of people. Here we go with the shuffling. You'll see, even with my massive hands, that it is a bit of a struggle sometimes. But I find the more that I work with this deck, the more pliable the cards tend to become. So, like I said, maybe with more use, they'll just be a little easier to get a grip on. You can see they really do beautifully overhand, and I think if you have smaller hands, that's really going to be the way to go with this deck. Now for my favorites of this deck, the majors, 100% the Hierophant. This card reminds me of the High Priestess. I love this like mysterious, intuitive vibe that it gives off. As far as for the court cards, the whole picture of the Page of Cups is just so beautiful. I want to walk in there. I can see it. I can feel it. And for the minors, it would definitely be the Nine of Swords. There's something about this vintage look with the moon and this dark forest behind it that really strike me in this Nine of Swords. It's probably my favorite card of the deck. Hello. I'm much closer now. So that was my little review of the Moonchild Tarot. So now we're going to jump into our midweek reading. Now, like I mentioned in the walkthrough, this book has inquiry questions. I don't know, if I try to say the word fast, it's just not going to come out right. Each card has a few questions, and not only is it great when you pull that card if you want to really read about it and kind of dive into it, but I also think it's great when you just want to ask the card something and you're like, I just want something different. I want to pull some cards, but I really need a place to start. I love to open the book and just read a question and kind of ask the deck from there. So let's do that. What am I feeling? This. Okay. Oh, I like this. So for this midweek reading, we will ask, what small steps can I take toward my true goals? I like that. Let's crack this baby open and ask that question to the cards. What small steps can I take towards my true goals? So where are we going this week when it comes to our goals? What do we need to focus on? What do we need to do? I know I got plenty of goals I'm working on, so any little any little guidance, any little advice helps. I'm getting better at shuffling these cards, you guys, because I've been using it like a mad woman. All right. I'm getting the top card, but this bottom card wants to come out. It's my stalker card, of course it wants to come out. Okay, so the Three of Wands at the top, but my tricky little King of Swords, I can't leave him behind, especially in this deck. My King of Swords is constantly popping up, but it is my card of the year. It's constantly in there about like discipline. Because I'm not disciplined. I get it. Okay. So anyway, towards our goals, the Three of Wands. You know, I'm feeling a change here. You know, like paying attention to what work you've already put in and kind of altering it a little bit. And the reason I say that is like this kind of shakeup around that moon really makes me feel like, there might be something that we're missing, right? We have all this passion for it. We've been putting in all this work towards these goals. What steps do I need to take? You might need to look a bit at the horizon, see what else you can see, right? There's something for many of us that's missing. There's something missing from what you're doing. And you know, I feel like with these two people here, there's somebody else that's going to be able to help you with this, help you see a different perspective this week, at the end of this week. So Pay attention to those around you. Ask questions. Talk to people about your goals. Because if you're like me at all, I have a tendency of just like internalizing my goals and never saying them out loud. That's a big issue. Matter of fact, I pulled some cards for myself the other night, and that's kind of what it was about. Talking about like you're so scared to move, you're so scared to say it out loud, you're so scared to have that help and to have someone to discuss this with that you just stand still. Please don't be like me. How do they say that? I give very good advice, but I very seldom follow it. Obviously with my stalker here, that King of Swords. So it's all about being disciplined, yes. Thinking logically, yes. But we can't do it alone, right? We're getting ourselves stuck by not sharing this with others and by not sharing that passion that we have for what we're doing. So maybe a little bit of change up, a little bit of a different perspective. That's what I'm getting for the rest of the week. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. I really hope you're enjoying these because I absolutely love being able to bring these little walkthrough Wednesdays to you guys. It's been so fun so far. So we're just gonna keep that momentum up. So if you have any questions, please leave me comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe because it really helps me out. And if you really love my videos, if you click the little bell next to subscribe, it'll actually notify you when I post. I try to do that minimum of once a week, obviously, for Walkthrough Wednesday. But there's always other things that I'm talking about. So make sure to do that if you really like my content. And if you're looking for me, all kinds of stuff below. Instagram, Facebook, you can book a reading with me, my Etsy shop, Patreon, all kinds of goodies down below. So thank you again for being here, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Sending you much love. Bye, guys.